Ben?
My wonder weapon is different from yours so far because it's probably not as good, and probably people would hate it because like we had the wonder weapon like the Vril, the VR11, and people hated that, but mainly because people actually didn't really know what it did. And
I loved it.
Yeah, it's actually the second most powerful wonder weapon of all time. It literally gives a teammate insta-kill all the time. Yeah. I mean, it's so powerful, but people don't realise that because they just assume, well, because I'm not killing the thing I'm shooting with it, they just think, well, it's shit. What I'd like to see is that kind of medium, the kind of passive wonder weapons come in, because A, you don't feel like an absolute bastard for using it and whoring kind of all of the masses of trains of zombies and all these horrible things, like the thunder gun, for example, would just kill an entire train. That's it. It would just blow them to smithereens. But I like the things where you use them more tactically, and one of the things I was liking before, you know, zombies really goes hard on time travel and all these things, and I thought a time gun, something like a gun off the top of my head, like a time ripper, something that you could shoot a horde of zombies and all it would do is literally take them back 5 seconds, and that's it. And what that would mean is it would get you out of some seriously sticky situations. I mean, it would just literally, you could shoot it at a horde of zombies, and that horde of zombies would just get pushed back to where they were 5 seconds ago. Very, very hard to do in terms of Treyarch's architecture because of the Radiant engine, but that would be really good because it's not a gun that would essentially get you more kills, but it's a gun that could essentially save your life. And I like that idea.
Yeah, and I like that too, but don't you think they should implement some kind of risk to it? Like, you could possibly, you know, I guess, like, you know, go forward in time. Like,
yeah, they could, like 5 seconds back or 2 seconons forward, something like that. Right. Yeah, that's, like, you I like that, and Nick, you brought that's a good idea. I like the kind of gift and reward, you know, the QED. You normally get a gift, but you never know. Could always be that risk factor, and that's something that I'd like to see in all the guns. Now, I made a point before about gun jams in Call of Duty, and this never happened. It probably won't happen, but I like that idea of being surrounded by a horde, and suddenly your gun's not shooting, it's not firing, and I just want to be in that situation so badly. I would think that would be an incredible thing to do, but I can't really see it for Black Ops 2. Next topic.
Well, what do you guys think is the biggest gameplay mechanic that Treyarch needs to fix? For me, I'll go real quick. I think they need to fix rape trains. They need to somehow look in and address the running around in circles, and
I agree.
Maybe I'll give Ben a chance to maybe embellish on that thought.
Yeah, I've done a thing about it before, about very easy ways to sort out training, and one is it works in terms of George Romero zombies, but doesn't work in terms of other kind of director zombies. If you look at the actual makeup of a zombie, which is zombies literally running out of steam because they're back to their mammalian instincts and they're back to that kind of animal frenzy, but they're still limited. Regardless if they're dead, their body is still filled with muscles and all these things that make them move. It's still limited by oxygen. It still is limited. I mean, I don't really know how Treyarch are kind of possessing their zombies and returning them with 115, whatever, but I'd like to see a train where some zombies literally run out of breath, and so they run slower. So if you're literally making a circle, so actually circles would become impossible because they're not all running at the same speed, and some would start kind of just drifting off, and that would become very, very hard to manage for those kind of raid trains. But the upshot, and what I like about training, are the infinite loops, the kind of routes that you can run all the way around a map. They're more fun than just standing there in a fucking circle. I can't stand that, and I will leave a game if someone's doing that in a game with me. But the ones that take some sort of map knowledge and skill and use of traps and all these pretty cool things, I like that. Like Shangri-La, yeah, or like Doris, there's full map runs. Yeah. There's quite a few of them, apart from Moon, I think, is one of the only ones you can't really do it with. But Dalek, how about you?
I must say I really liked your idea. Well, branching off that, I guess you could kind of say to improve it would simply just to improve the zombie AI, so they wouldn't all act the same as they do at the moment, where they just run and target at you and they non-stop. If you could sort of somehow modify that, so some zombies run quicker, some run slower, or they have their own minds, so some of them might run in a different direction to what other zombies are doing. Yeah. But my idea was more interactivity with like objects on maps. Like, you've got the lunar landers, you've got the the flinger on Call of the Dead. Just little neat things like that to get ways around the map. I really think if they introduce a few more of those, just to get around the maps, just fun little things to do, like kind of like side missions almost. I just really like the ideas of having that, because even just taking the lunar ladder, sometimes it's just fun to just get away from zombies real quick. You like, you know,
Take a break.
get a bit, yeah, things hectic. You just get on the lunar lander, safe. Stuff like that. Just like stuff like that. Reed, what about you? What's your ideas?
You know, I definitely have to agree with you there, because I love the idea of just that second of peace, even though you're like, all right, I got to prepare for what's going to happen when I get down off the lander, like an Ascension. You see the hordes just rushing to the main room where the centrifuge is, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. I think that's awesome, especially like I was fantasizing about like an Atlantis map where you could have almost like pods where you could like jump in that and it would shoot you to a different side of like a massive city of a map, and you could shoot from pod to pod. There'd be cooldown times. It'd be pretty much like a teleporter, but you know, kind of implementing, you get the real movement around you, as well as, you know, getting from one side of the map to the next side of the map. And my other thing I was thinking of was, again, I can't believe we all unanimously agree on this, is the training. Just change the AI of the zombies to make it so we aren't going to have these broken loops where we get 400 rounds, 500 rounds, 1,000 rounds, 2,000 rounds. That's not fun. It's not. We want to make the game fun, as much fun as it can be. What do you think, Frenzy?
Well, I think it's pretty funny that we all agree on that too, especially that we all have channels based on, you know, well, I'm not saying high rounds, but, you know, going for higher rounds, that we all rape train and do that. But, you know, I was thinking that, like, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but you can pretty much run through the zombies in Black Ops if you haven't noticed. Like, 2 zombies will be right in front of you, and you could just go right through the center of them. I think they should be more solid, like totally solid objects, like the hitboxes, or you know, even add more gore to it. Like, well, it's more detail, but you know, I think there should be more detail, like paid attention to from like Treyarch should pay attention to the details. You know, like movement and teleporting. Like, it should all be more smart instead of dumb AI. It should be like smarter.
What do you guys think is the most disappointing feature or the most broken feature in zombies that you'd like addressed? Now, I'll start with it. The one thing that's pissed me off since the beginning of zombies is host migration and lack
oh my
of
god,
host
there
migration.
you go.
Yeah.
And I think everyone would agree, but I don't think that it should be. I've seen this before on YouTube, people suggesting that it should be like a lobby thing where if someone leaves, someone else just joins in. That defeats the object of starting with the team and actually preparing a team. I don't like the idea of it's just kind of like a multiplayer. I know it's set in multiplayer now, but I don't like the idea that the match could start with 8 players and then end with a completely different set of 8 players just through host migrations. I think that just sometimes, you know, I really want to play, but I just have to go, but I don't want to disappoint my friends who are on round 45 or anything. It's taken like the majority of the day to get there, but I do have to go. I think they should allow for that, and I think they need to do it in Black Ops 2 because it's about time, to be honest. How about you, Reed?
You know, I agree with you. And what has been suggested is that since they're moving it over to the multiplayer engine, we're having all these different playlists, that host migration will be a thing, which I really do hope to see. But the big thing that gets me really upset is splash damage and PhD. Back in World at War, that's how these wonder weapons were balanced. You were shooting a ray gun right in front of you. Guess what? You're going down. You shot the Wonder Waffle and you got feedback. There's no more Juggernaut for you the rest of the game. It made the most overpowered weapons balanced. It gave you that risk and reward. And both PhD and the splash reduction just initially when the game released have really they disappointed me. I feel it broke the game where people can do these crazy rape trains and, you know, in that tight situation, you're in a corner, you shoot at your feet with a ray gun and you're going to get out of it. You're fine. What do you think, Nick?
I would definitely agree with what you just said there, but another thing that they need to hopefully fix is the G-spawn errors or the high-level performance issues, because I feel like if you can fix rape training and give people an attainable reason to get high rounds on single player, it would be really good. It would be really beneficial for people to do these long runs without having to worry about the game crashing and those type of things. But that also incorporates like the G-spawn error, where I think it's too many zombies on the map or too many entities, something like that. And hopefully it running off the multiplayer engine will fix this, but I'm hoping just an overall performance upgrade for zombies. And yeah, what do you think, Zombie Frenzy?
I'm pretty much saying the same thing. Like, I wanted to say matchmaking and just the whole host migration thing. I'm trying to find a lobby, just trying to find a regular, non-laggy lobby, which is impossible anyway. But, I get into a lobby and then the match is about to start, host migration, got to start over. I think the host should just get kicked and the 3 other people should stay. And that's about it. That's really all I'm saying for Black Ops. I thought everything else was pretty good. John?
I had exactly what Nick was going to say, just the stupid G-spawn, or what people have deemed as the Treyarched bug, like, you've just been Treyarched, is something not to really joke about, because people spend hours, days even, like literally like a week, maybe 2 weeks on a high level run, and then all of a sudden they just get screwed over and literally the game restarts. I just think it's wrong. If they make the zombie mode intentionally to have an infinite number of rounds, then they should keep to that, and they shouldn't have bugs like that in the first place. Just people spend so much time and effort, and then it's just literally thrown in their face, and there's no warning of it either. They need to fix that, and then that will make solo zombies a little bit more fun again, because you never know when you're going to get Treyarched. Alright, so let's move on to the last question, which is what are your thoughts about Season 2 of Zombies? New characters, timeline, story, dimension, etc. Ben, you love the story. Well, what are you looking forward to? What are your thoughts about Black Ops 2 Zombies?
Okay, my thoughts in a nutshell.